Okay, welcome everybody. This is our accounting information session. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's get started. Okay, so today our agenda is we're going to talk a little bit about a $100 discount for attending. We're going to talk about some accounting program information, financing your education, and we're also going to leave time for some questions and answers. And just a reminder, some of you who've joined us a little bit early, we are recording this information session. You'll get a link for it in the next day or so if you'd like to watch it or share it with anybody. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A box. I'm joined here by my colleagues, Heather Ogle and Kathy Zhao. They'll introduce themselves in a minute. But Heather's keeping an eye on the Q&A box, and we can either answer your questions live or we can use it at the end. So please feel free to use that anytime. Okay, next slide. So as I mentioned, for joining us today, you will receive $100 off your first class. So we'll be sending out a follow-up email in the next day. But just note, we'll talk about this a little bit more about discounts in a couple slides towards the end, but we cannot combine discounts. All right, Heather, next slide. All right, as I mentioned, I'm joined here today by Kathy. Hi, Kathy, how are you?
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the session for accounting today. And I'm the enrollment coach. So I will put my calendar link. So after the info session, if you have question or you want to talk about more about this program, about enrollment, please feel free to schedule either phone call or Zoom meeting with me. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And as I join, Heather is doing my tech support and keep an eye on the Q&A box for us today. And again, if you're having any tech difficulties, sorry, having some difficulties saying difficulties, just let us know as well, and we'll see if we can give you a hand. I know sometimes Zoom isn't always the easiest to work with if you're not used to it. But like I said, Heather and I are your primary contacts as you make your way through the program. And as Kathy mentioned, she and our student services team can answer any questions you may have about enrolling or course logistics. Okay, next slide. So we'd like to ask you a couple questions. Let's start off with a poll. Just a chance to get to know you a little bit better. How did you first hear about us? We'll just give you a minute or so to answer. This information is really helpful for us to know, to make sure we're getting out the information that you need in the best way. So we'll just give you another minute or so. Looks like almost everyone's did it. Okay, not surprising. Everybody heard about us through an internet search. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. We appreciate everybody participating in that. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to go over some program information. So just to let you know, all our courses are online and they're worth 4 quarter credit units. You could take courses as part of a certificate or individually, and I'll go into a little more detail about that in a few more slides. And we do offer 2 certificate options, the accounting principles certificate and the accounting specialist certificate. So again, I'll go into a little bit more detail, but generally the principal certificate is our core coursework, and our specialist certificate is more advanced topics in accounting. Okay, next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, the principal certificate has 4 courses. You're going to take Principles of Financial Accounting. And this is also the prerequisite for all other courses, but you can take it concurrently if you need it as a prereq. You'll also be taking Intermediate Accounting Part 1 and Intermediate Accounting Part 2. You will need to take Part 1 before you take Part 2, and also Principles of Cost Accounting. So this certificate is perfect for individuals with no accounting experience, maybe those who are working in the field but don't have formal or recent coursework. And again, as I mentioned, you want to begin with Principles of Financial Accounting class, which is offered every quarter. And all our other courses are offered every other quarter for the Principal certificate. Okay, next slide. The specialist certificate focuses on specific areas of accounting and is recommended for those who have already taken some basic accounting courses or who have experience in the field and are simply looking for some more advanced coursework. So the courses that we offer are auditing, individual income taxation, accounting for government and nonprofit organizations, financial statement analysis, and ethics in accounting. So as you can see, our specialist courses are usually offered only once a year. except for our financial statement analysis, which is offered in fall and spring. These courses can be taken in any order. We'll talk a little bit about it. We have a couple different options to complete the certificate, but if you were doing it at your own pace, you could take them in any order. But once again, the Principles of Financial Accounting course is the required prerequisite for all these courses. So if you feel like you've taken a Principles of Financial Accounting course, it may be in another institution or in your undergrad coursework, just reach out to Kathy and we can look at your transcripts to see if we could get that waive, that prerequisite, but we would just need to see, what your coursework and the equivalents and that sort of thing. Okay, next slide. And I just want to also mention the CPA exam. I know some people are, looking to take that down the road, and just noting that taking both the certificates will provide enough credits to fulfill the 36 credit hours in accounting subjects required to sit for the CPA exam, but you would need to fulfill the other requirements to sit for the exam outside of our accounting courses. For example, they might have some undergraduate studies or additional coursework, and that we do always recommend that students visit the California Board of Accountancy website just for the current information regarding the CPA exam and related course requirements. They have different checklists, a lot of different resources. So we would recommend that if you're thinking about doing that down the road, definitely it's worth your time to be an informed consumer and just look at what their requirements are. And I did also want to mention the order of certificates. So lots of times we have people say, for example, they want to take both certificates because they're trying to fulfill the credit hours for the CPA exam. And they'll be like, can I take specialists first or principals first? So basically, you're not required to take the principal certificate prior to pursuing the specialist. But again, the Principles of Financial Accounting course is the prerequisite. So you at least want to, if you hadn't taken that before someplace else, you would want to make sure that was in the beginning of your course plan. Okay, next slide. All right, so as I mentioned, we have two different types of certificate options, and Kathy is a great resource. If you have any questions about this, I'm gonna touch briefly about it in the information session, but I know sometimes people have very specific questions, so please reach out to Kathy. But in regards to the certificate, one option we have is what we call at your own pace. So you would have 5 years to complete all your coursework from the time you took your first course. You would pay for the courses as you go. You would pay for your certificate registration fee of $125, which basically lets us know that you're planning on completing the certificate, that we are aware we can give you any updates on any of the courses. And then this is the type where you would be eligible for individual discounts. So for example, the $100 off coupon you could use on an individual course. Okay, next slide. Our other option, if you are pursuing our certificate, is what we call our fast track. In our fast track, you're committing to a set course plan. So we have entry points every quarter, fall quarter, winter quarter, spring, summer. It doesn't matter when you'd like to join right now. We have an entry point for your fast track. So again, you're committing to a set course plan. You're going to be paying upfront for all your courses at once. So if you're in the Principals Fast Track, that's paying for all 4 courses. The Specialist, you'll be paying for all 5 courses, but you're going to receive a 15% discount off of all your tuition. And we also waive your certificate registration fee, and you're going to get priority enrollment in classes. So typically, I guess I'll go a little bit more into the differences of the fast tracks, but typically you would be taking 1 course per quarter. Depending on what time of year you had an entry point, whether it was fall or spring or summer, there might be a quarter where you would skip, but typically you would either take courses back to back, and depending, like I said, I think sometimes if you enter in the winter or summer, you might skip a quarter. But again, Kathy would help you, if you wanted to know specifically, if I joined in the fall quarter, what classes would I be taking? What is the order? She has all that information for you. Okay, next slide. So our fall classes that we're offering now, which are open for enrollment, are Principles of Financial Accounting. As I mentioned, that is the prerequisite for all other courses. Intermediate Accounting Part 2, Financial Statement Analysis, and Ethics in Accounting. So if you were to start in, whether you want to go at your own pace or you would like to do the Principles Fast Track, your first course this fall would be Principles of Financial Accounting. If, say, you've met that prerequisite, and Kathy will walk you through that, and you've been approved that you met the prereq, you'd be able to start maybe like a specialist fast track. And this you would starting with, I believe it's financial statement analysis this quarter, or it could be ethics. Does that sound right, Kathy? I think it starts with financial statements. We switch back and forth between ethics and financial statement analysis because they're both offered in fall. But intermediate accounting part 2 is part of our principles certificate. So you would not be able to take that unless you've taken principles of financial accounting and intermediate accounting part 1, just to give everybody a heads up. Okay, next slide. All right, so we have another poll, if you wouldn't mind participating. I just started to think about it now. Why are you interested in our accounting programs? Are you working in accounting and looking to advance your skills, looking for a career change, need a certificate for your job, apply for jobs, CPA exam, maybe you're thinking about a master's in accountancy, lifelong learner. So we'll just give you a couple minutes again. This information just is really helpful for us to know how to gear these information sessions for your fellow students in the future and just what information to share with you as well. So we appreciate it. Okay, great. So it looks like a third of you're already working in accounting, looking to advance your skills. A third of you are looking for a career change. It looks like we have someone who is interested in the CPA exam. And that's great. Someone's a lifelong learner and wants to expand their knowledge. Oh, great. So we pretty much have a few in every category. All right, thank you. All right, next slide. So I also like to just take a moment to introduce you to our instructors. So all of them are working accountants. They all are CPAs. They all work in varying areas of accounting. So first we have Monique Smalling. She teaches our intermediate accounting part 1 and 2, principles of cost accounting, ethics in accounting, financial statement analysis. Then we have Emily Anderson. She teaches principles of financial accounting and individual income taxation. Jim Veneman teaches auditing, accounting for governmental and nonprofit organizations, and also Don Adcock, who also teaches individual income taxation. And on our website, we have, I believe there's an interview up there right now with Emily Anderson, just talking a little bit about her course and what kind of skills you could learn from principles of financial accounting to apply not only in accounting, but in some other businesses as well. So if you get a chance to check out our website, I'd really recommend watching that video. All right, next slide. So some of you maybe have already taken courses online, maybe you might have children or siblings who are done some online coursework, but what our online classes use is Canvas. So I just did a screenshot here of the Principles of Financial Accounting course with Emily. So in the beginning, there's lots of Canvas tutorials. So when you enroll in line, you're going to get some links. If you're not familiar with it, to get familiarized, there's some great tutorials. But basically, this is going to be your dashboard on the left. You're going to get your syllabus, you'll get announcements. Your modules will be where basically the action is, where you're going to get your links to your the lessons, where you're going to get your links to your homework assignments. There's also discussions that you can see your grades, course evaluations, and so on. All right, next slide. And I talked a little bit about the modules. So again, this is just another snapshot view of just what it would look like. So again, this would be principles of financial accounting. The first week you introduce yourself, there's a class participation forum. And here's what I mentioned, the Canvas tutorials and student guides. And basically, the first lesson, what is accounting, read me first, video lessons. A lot of times the instructors will have, all the lectures are available online, but sometimes the instructors will also do like a quick video and add that as well if people had questions about a homework problem, if there was something they learned that week they wanted to share with you. So it's a really great a tool. But I did also just want to mention, again, that you would get your link to Canvas the first day of your course. So if you're a new student with us, you'll have access the first day of your course. So for full quarter, you would get the link to Canvas on September 20th. Okay, next slide. All right, so let's get into pricing. Again, I mentioned a little bit the difference between, at your own pace versus fast track. So with the principal certificate, at your own pace, you're taking 4 individual courses for a total of $3,520. That works out to be $880 per course. You're going to be paying a one-time non-refundable registration fee of $125. That must also be paid in order to receive your certificate. With the fast track option, you're going to be paying $2,992 in full at time of enrollment, and you'll save $528 on the cost of the program, and then the $125 registration fee is also waived. And I do want to note that textbooks are not included in the tuition fee. I typically will post the textbooks at least a month before the course starts. I'll either notify you by email, or if you enroll closer to the start date, you'll get it in your enrollment notification. But we're finding a lot of the textbooks now are ebooks. And a couple of our courses even have some really cool options of Connect Access for homework. So for some of you who maybe have not been in school for a while, I know for me, it was a bit of a change. You don't need to go to a school bookstore. You can order these online, and I will give you all the information you need to order the textbooks. But just to give you a heads up, a lot of them have options of ebooks or rentals. So, you know, the cost can vary per quarter, anywhere from like $50 a textbook to like $200. But sometimes your options are more flexible if you're willing to do like an ebook or a rental. Okay, next page. The accounting specialist certificate, again, at your own pace, the courses are $800 per course. So if you were taking 5 courses for the specialist certificate, that would be $4,400. Again, the one-time non-refundable registration fee of $125 versus the fast track, where you would pay $3,740 in full at time of enrollment. And this, you'll save $660 at the cost of the program, and the certificate registration fee is also waived. And again, likewise with the textbooks, they're not included in the tuition fee. All right, next page. All right, so we talked about pricing. Now let's talk about how you can finance your education. So if you're interested in exploring funding from private loans or government assistance, such as the Veterans Education Benefits or Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, you're going to want to contact our Student Affairs team. So you'll want to make sure you begin this process well in advance of enrolling, because it could take a little while to do the paperwork. Again, Kathy would be the point person. She can point you in the direction of the right person, but feel free to also contact Student Services directly. I shared the phone number there, and it will also be in the email as well. And just check out our website. We have a lot of information, a lot of links under our Student Services webpage. Okay, next page. We have another poll. So now we're asking, have you taken any accounting courses in, oh, sorry, I have them backwards. How do you think you'll take the program? I realize now, I just noticed my polls, I must have put my polls in backwards. So thank you for your patience. So this one is, how do you think you'll take the program? Are you looking to take individual courses at one at a time? You're interested in the fast track option? Maybe a certificate, but at your own pace. So we'll just give you a couple minutes. Looks like everyone's finishing up. Okay, that looks good. Okay, great. So it looks about half of you are interested in pursuing a certificate, but at your own pace. Like I said, that's totally fine. You just remember you have 5 years from the first time you take your first course. We have some people interested in the fast track, and some people also taking individual courses at this time. All right, so the people who are interested in taking individual courses at this time, you'll definitely want to reach out to Kathy to just make sure you get some guidance on what courses maybe to start with first, especially because we have a couple courses that, like I mentioned, have the prerequisite of the principles of financial accounting. All right, thanks, Heather. I think we can move on to the next slide. All right, for those of you who are considering about taking your academic career even further, I don't think we had anybody today, but there might be some people listening another day. But for those of you who are considering going into or pursuing the Masters of Professional Accountancy, 2 of our courses, which is the Principles of Financial Accounting and the Principles of Cost Accounting, they fulfill the prerequisite requirements for the UC Davis Graduate School of Management Master of Professional Accountancy program. So you'll want to contact the graduate school for further information on their programs as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I'm a fast talker, so hopefully I haven't lost anybody. But like I said, I'm joined here by Kathy, and Heather is here as well. I'm not sure if we had any questions. I always have a few things I can mention that I know are common questions that I often get, but I did just want to open up the Q&A if anybody had any questions. And I'll give you guys a
So
minute.
Jen, we did
Yep.
have one question come through about the homework. What's that like? Should we expect as far as how much time?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I actually wrote that down because I had gotten an update. So basically all our courses are paced, what we call paced asynchronous courses. So which means that all the students will be proceeding through the course at the same time. And the course will have weekly due dates for homework assignments, tests, quizzes, that sort of thing. So you can access the online lectures and the materials anytime throughout the week, whenever it's convenient for you. There's no specific live times that you need to be on Zoom or on Canvas. So you can access it throughout the week. But again, and with homework, there will be weekly due dates. Typically, the modules are released on a Monday, and the homework will be due by midnight Sunday. So typically, you could probably expect to spend about 5 to 6 hours a week on online lectures and discussion forums, and probably about 5 to 6 hours of work on the readings and the assignments and the homework. So obviously everyone has different learning styles, but typically those are kind of like the general timelines, I would say, that to devote. So you're looking at like 10 to 12 hours a week sort of thing. And we also, Kathy can also share you the link, or you can look yourself. We actually do have an example of a syllabus for principles of financial accounting on our website. So what you can do is you can go to our website, you click on the individual course of principles of financial accounting, and it'll give you an example. Like, I know obviously each course will differ based on topics, but you can give you an idea of what it would look like a typical week would look like with a course. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, then we have a question about the discount code for today and how you use that.
Sure. So as I mentioned, we do have lots of different discounts at UC Davis, but the discounts cannot be stacked. So the fast track is considered a discount. So say, for example, you did decide today to join us and use one of the fast track enrollment options, you would not be able to use the $100 discount on top of that. If you're interested in doing the certificate at your own pace, you're only taking maybe one course at a time, yes, you would definitely be able to use the $100 discount. And you will get a follow-up email. It'll come from Kathy's, the same Zoom link information that you got for the registration with the discount code. So I believe if you apply online, you can just put the discount code in and it will show up the $100 discount. If for any reason it does not work, please call into Student Services. I just found out, I believe we also have like something that's called like an early bird discount. If you enroll at least 2 weeks before a course starts, you can get $50 off a course. Again, it can't be stacked, so you couldn't use the $100 discount and a $50 discount for an individual course, but you could use, like, say, the $100 in fall, and then in the winter, you know, if you do the early bird, you can also enroll with $50 off. So for any reason, if you're enrolling online, if you run into any challenges and the discounts don't show up, reach out to Kathy, reach out to Student Services, and we can make sure if you are eligible for a discount, we can help you work that out for your enrollment.
Great, thank you. We have some questions on, do you need to have any sort of education prior to this, an associate's degree or anything? And then would the principal's certificate be enough for a low-level accounting position?
Okay, those are great questions. So no previous accounting experience is needed for our program. We don't require a college degree or anything like that. I would say if you do have some post-secondary, like past high school experience in coursework, even if it's not in accounting, that's always a benefit. You just want to be mindful of like time management, and these are academic courses. You receive academic credit and they're college level courses. So again, even though, you know, except for the courses beyond Principles of Financial Accounting, we require that as a prerequisite. But if you were just coming into Principles of Financial Accounting, yeah, we would not require a college degree or an associate's degree or anything like that, but just being mindful that, it's a college level accounting course. So, but Principles of Financial Accounting is a great way to kind of get your feet wet to see if this is like a good path that you want to follow. Even if you decide you don't want to do anything in accounting, there's so many different skills that you could pick up from this class. And I do want to mention for all of our courses, we have a pretty generous refund policy. If you, as long as you withdraw within before the first 2 weeks of class is over, you will get your refund minus like a $30 admin fee. You do want to be mindful of the fast track. There are some different fees involved if you go past your first course. But again, all the information's on the website. Kathy can help you with that. It's all in your enrollment confirmation. And again, just any questions, just reach out to us. In regards to the principles of financial accounting, principles fast track and principles certificate. In regards to the type of coursework, but yeah, so lots of times I always tell students, be a good consumer, look at the job ads, put in like financial accounting assistant, and see what kind of courses that they're looking for, what kind of background. So a lot of people take the principles of, principles of financial accounting, that's the course. A lot of people take our principles certificate program as career changers or just kind of furthering their knowledge. But yeah, you're going to learn like the foundational accounting skills that would help you be like you said, like an entry level type of financial assistant. I'm always careful. Some people ask me about bookkeeping, and that's a little bit different. And sometimes you might want to look at the job requires for that because they use different software that they wouldn't necessarily always cover in our accounting courses. But yeah, I mean, definitely be a good consumer, look at the different job positions out there and see what they're kind of looking for. But when I personally have looked myself, I have seen definitely some things like assistants, accounting clerks sometimes will be another job search I've seen that will come up that our courses would probably match, that sort of thing.
Thank you. Let's see, we have regarding a career change, not necessarily doing a CPA, yeah, but leading to a career in finance. And I think that you did just kind of explain that, and that yes, these can be used as an intro into finance.
Exactly.
Okay, and then we had one about transferring credit in from a community college. Would you like to talk about that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So if you are looking at I would review your coursework. So basically per certificate, we allow one course substitution. But the caveat is that's only if you do the at your own pace certificate option. If you're doing the fast track option, you are buying into the package. So for the principal certificate, it's all 4 courses. For the specialist certificate, it's all 5 courses if you're doing the fast track. If you think you have met, say like you've taken a course at a community college and you think like, I'm pretty sure I took principles of financial accounting. We do have some like requirements of like how long ago the course was. I'll have to look into if it's a true equivalent. But if it does meet the timeline requirement and it meets the equivalency requirements, you could, for example, waive the prereq for principles of financial accounting, or say, for example, you are interested in the principal certificate and you're pretty sure you took like a cost accounting course. It's sometimes called managerial accounting in other institutions. You can just pass that on to Kathy and we'll have a look at it and we'll let you know. Because we do allow 1 course substitution per certificate if it meets the qualifications.
Thank you. And then here's another good question. When is the deadline to make up your mind on which program to choose as far as the fast track versus your own pace?
So that's the part that you have to think about because you can't switch back from one or the other. So really the deadline to decide would be any of the deadlines for the entry points. So for the fall quarter, our classes actually start September 20th, but we do always allow an extra week for enrollments. So for example, if you wanted to get into, if you were undecided between the fast track or at their own pace, you would technically have up to a week after the course starts. But regardless, even if that was a question you had, again, like we do allow an enrollment up to a week after, but just be mindful that you would be responsible for making up any coursework. But yeah, and like I said, you want to be a good consumer. You definitely want to make sure it's the best option for you. And that's why sometimes people like to go at your own pace, right? You have a little bit more flexibility. But if you're all in and you're ready to go and you want to take advantage of that discount, then the fast track is a good option for you. Oh, and I did want to mention, I know it's not on our slides, but when I'm thinking of the top of my head, so if you're in a certificate program, whether it's the fast track or at your own pace, we do require you to get a C in every course. So not a C minus, it's a C and above to meet the requirements of earning the certificate. So I did just want to add that there as well.
Thank you. And so just to clarify, if you start at your own pace and you've taken like 2 of the classes and you've decided, okay, yeah, I really do want to do all of them, can you switch to the fast track then?
You can't, unfortunately, no, because the fast track, you're basically earning a discount because you're paying up front. So you could still do you could make your own fast track, if that makes sense. I wouldn't call it fast track, but you could take courses, you know, as much as our schedule allows. You could take a course every quarter if you want to, but if you want to take advantage of the fast track discount, you would have to pay up front and decide in the beginning. But if you did it at your own pace, like I said, we do always have an early bird special as long as you get your enrollment in 2 weeks before. I think if you're an alumni, if you're UC Davis staff, I think we even have like those if you have a couple people from your employer is sending, we have group discounts. So Kathy is definitely a good person to talk to about that. And if you're on the fence of what option you want to go with, you know, please reach out to Kathy. She can definitely let you know about your options and what work best for you. And she's helped a lot of students enroll. So if you know, she can help you with specific questions if you're on the fence, which one you want to do, because we want you to be successful, right? Everyone has busy lives. A lot of you are working full-time jobs or have busy lives and busy families. So again, Kathy is a great asset to help you kind of work that out if you do have a couple of questions about that.
Thanks so much, Jen. I think it looks like we've answered all of the current questions. I'll give it a second and see if anybody has any last one they want to slip in while we're here.
Sure. And while we're doing that, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to slip in one more poll for you at the end. Basically, I want to hear how I did. Was this information session helpful for you? If there's some things that we could have covered that we didn't. So Heather, while we're waiting for any residual questions to come in, if you wouldn't mind running the last poll. And I'll just remind you, like I mentioned, our next quarter is fall quarter. It starts September 20th. All our courses that I talked about, the fast track entry points for both the principals and the specialist certificate are open. And again, if you have any additional questions, if you don't get one in today, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or to Kathy. She's available. She's shared her Calendly link to set up a personal appointment if you'd like to learn more about the program. If you have specific questions about, you know, which option would be the best for you, please feel free to reach out to her and to us. And like I said, I'm going to send, you'll get a follow-up email, but just the link to the video, the discount code, and also Kathy's information. Again, if you know, are listening on your phone, you don't have a pen handy, the Calendly link will come out again as well in the follow-up email. All right, did we get any more questions come in, Heather?
No, I think that's it. And the email will come out tomorrow for everybody who is here with the recording and the link. And thank you for participating in our final survey. So I'm going to go ahead and close that down and say thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, everybody, so much. And thank you for my patience. I was tripping over my words a little bit today. I think my coffee was coming in like mid-information session. So thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.